Mall Santas of Reddit. What is the weirdest thing a kid asked for Christmas? After waiting 2 hours in line, my daughter asked Santa for a hot dog. Worked as a photographer for a mall Santa. It's not that weird, but my favorite moment was when a kid asked for a live octopus or shark. Santa said he wasn't sure if his elves would be able to make those. Kid said he'd settle for a giant squid if he had to. I'm a teacher. I had one of my most difficult obstinate button pusher kids come in at recess to talk to me. He said he was worried he would not get what he really wanted, to be a real elf, move to the North Pole, and make all the presents. He had tears in his eyes, and was the most sincere I had ever seen. Made me really appreciate how hard life was at home. He just wished for a way out. When I was like 9, I wrote a goodbye letter to my parents telling them Santa was going to pick me up and take me to the North Pole. I sat out in our car and waited on Santa to show up and take me away. The most dumb thing about this was that it was the middle of the summer. I know the weirdest thing I asked for was a pen that could write like a pen, pencil, marker, and crayon. I'd never seen one, but was sure Santa could make it. I got a 4-color pen instead. All they needed to do was put a marker on one, a crayon on another, and a pencil in the last. I worked as an elf when I was 15. One kid asked for a new liver. Apparently he was healthy, just wanted one to play with and stuff. There's 2 possible outcomes to this. Either the kid is an aspiring surgeon with a budding interest in anatomy, or a future serial killer. Many years ago, a small girl would not tell her mother what she wanted for Christmas. Mom told me the problem, and I was to tell her after the kid jumped off my lap. The little girl hopped up and told me she wanted some makeup and some tits. Okay, now I have to tell mom. Was a Santa at a party last week. A kid asked for a whistle that she could blow at night to wake her mom up and scare her when she was sleeping. I said no, that would put you on the naughty list. Let your mom sleep, you little gremlin. Mom laughed. Once as I was working, an Indian couple asked me to bless their newborn baby. I think they might have taken Saint Nick seriously. That was weird/awkward. Other than that, it was 98 or 99, so I'll learn just about every Pokemon out there. Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of children. I'm Santa at parties and wandering around the neighborhood. The toughest was having a little girl wanted her father home from prison. That was awkward, and I had to promise her that, although some presents take several years to get, they are the most worth it when it happens. Added the usual assurance that her daddy missed her and loved her. It's a lot easier when they want Barbies. When he was feeling better, my Phil looked just like a real Santa. I used to mess with him around Christmas. When we were out and about with a quick Rudolph needs to get back to the pole. We need to hurry. I got a lot of really great looks from kids. The best was a shy little girl that came up and asked for some specific doll. Without missing a beat, he says, I'm not sure what the heck that is, but I'll have Legolas look into it. He always acted grumpy about, but we all know he loved every second. Reindeer eggs so he could start his own franchise. That kid's name? Jeff Bezos. My uncle was a Santa, and he told me that one year a kid asked for a coffee maker because he wanted to start his own Starbucks coffee stand instead of a lemonade stand. Apparently business was not very good as a lemonade stand, but he noticed a lot of adults drink coffee, so he'd make coffee. That kid is probably a millionaire now. My older daughter, 10, timed her lemonade stands for when there were open houses in the neighborhood and she could catch all the strangers coming to look at the new house. She also talked her sister into being the frontline seller because people like buying things from cute little girls with blue eyes. It was both some impressive observation and somewhat creepy how matter of fact she was about it. I just hope she doesn't end up becoming the next Elizabeth Holmes. I was an assistant manager for a mall Santa with no programs. There was a special needs 20-something black guy that would come by nearly every day. He easily weighed more than 250 pounds, so we did eventually convince him to sit next to Santa instead of on his lap. Every time he had to remind Santa what he wanted for Christmas. His list was Home Alone on DVD, Straight Outta Compton on DVD, and Prince's 1999 album on CD. Santa was awesome and brought him the Prince CD a few days before Christmas. What year was this? Please say recently. 2016. I was a Santa in 1997 for a small authentic Old West village. I was 17 at the time and doing some local theater, and the costume lady was asked to find someone to be Santa for the weekend. She told me she thought of me because, well, you're not fat, but you're big. I'm 6 feet 6/1.98. So I put on a cheap costume that didn't fit well, and the beard smelled like the last Santa threw up in it, and I waited in a prop shed in the plaza that was normally a sheriff office or something. Tall, skinny, smelly Santa in a shed sitting on a plastic lawn chair. It was no wonder all the children screamed when they were put on my lap. None of them asked for anything, in fact, as they were too busy being scared of me. I had a pair of girls and later a pair of guys from the local Christian high school dressed as elves on the first day to take Polaroids and collect money. On the second day they flaked, and I was by myself all day. I charged people money to enter my creepy shed and take pictures of their own kids. *except for one young lady who was probably older than me and severely mentally disabled. Her parents were so apologetic because she was too old, but she sat on my lap and smiled at me with total naked joy. I can still see her face 20 years later. During college, I was a department store Santa. One little girl, with her mother looking on at a distance, whispered, "Please bring a boyfriend for mommy. Ever since daddy died she's been so lonely. That's what I really want for Christmas, Santa." I looked up at her loving mother and back at the girl and felt a lump in my throat. Goddamn, if this was a Hallmark movie, you'd have asked the mom out and become that girl's stepfather. My buddy worked as a mall Santa and quit after one day. He enjoyed 2 kids punching him in the balls, one baby vomiting on his chest, and one kid pissing his pants while sitting in his lap. It soaked through, and he felt it, warm and wet on his thigh. But he did get to say "F this shit, I quit," while wearing a Santa suit. So it wasn't a total loss. Well, at least he enjoys getting punched in the balls, so it wasn't a total loss. Obligatory not me, but about one of my really good friends is a lumberjack of a man 6 feet 4, 250 plus, giant beard type of man. He got a Christmas crop top sweater, so his entire stomach was out, got hammered, went to the mall, and asked Santa for a fifth of whiskey and some bad bitches lol. The video circulates a little more each year, but it makes me laugh every time, because the Santa has no idea how to react. Worked as a Santa/elf before. Sad part is low income neighborhood areas. Being in a large city is great, but with it come more problems. Sister-in-law was working with us at school function/local mall where they held the Santa thing. Downright worst things that make you sad. One kid wanted a door because the police broke his to arrest his dad and took him away. Also wanted dad back. One kid wanted her uncle to stop touching her at night. One other kid wanted running water and food for the house because mommy didn't have any. I have never volunteered to work there again, and yes, we did report these things to police as they happened, so there was some good, but damn. Not a mall Santa. My friend was one. He said that the weirdest thing he heard from a kid was a husband for his mom. That's sweet. Unless she already had a husband/boyfriend. So literally last night we took my kids to see Santa, and when asked what she wants for Christmas she says, "A surprise." Santa was so surprised he didn't know what to say. I worked in Russia as snow maiden. This is a Christmas character here, Santa Claus' granddaughter. One of the children in a wheelchair asked to walk again. It was hard. UPD. 4 peoples who wanted funny answer. In my practice was a boy who wanted a girlfriend. He was 5 to 6 years. Jesus, how do you respond to something like that? There was a joke a radio host told that I heard about 10 years ago also, and there was a mall Santa and this kid, and the kid wanted a tanker truck that had a hitch or crane/hook or something, and when it comes time to tell Santa what he wants, the kid says, "I want a truck with a hooker." Not weird, but a kid once asked for his mom back. I quit after that. I'm not a mall Santa, but I heard this kid say, "Sex doll." You should have seen his parents' face. Probably for his parents, to be honest. The kid got their parents back. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.